Hello, Lagos. Good afternoon. I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts. First hard fact of the day, it's day 9 of the annual 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. After today, that's 1 week left. Second hard fact of the day, we have by-elections coming up this Saturday. Did you know that? In Lagos here, we have a by-election for the Lagos East Senate seat. That's, of course, the seat of the late Senator Bayo Oshinowo, who died from COVID-19 in June. So Lagos East is voting for a new senator to finish his term. Now, the front-runner candidates are Tokunbo Abiru of the All Progressives Congress and Babatunde Gbadamosi of the People's Democratic Party. And the local government areas in Lagos East are Shomolu, Koshofe, Ikorodu, Ekpe, and Ibejuleki. So if you have a PVC on Saturday, go out there and elect who you think should represent you in Lagos East at the Nigerian Senate. Thank you for always voting for Hard Facts, all 720,000 of you. Please keep campaigning for me with your colleagues and your friends. Get them to tune into the show. And my campaign promises remain the same. I promise you a big 3. We're going to talk about making Nigeria better for people with disabilities. Then we're going to talk about the police asking the High Court to stop panels of inquiry. And then let's talk about the Sultan of Sokoto's tough words for the government about insecurity. Now, remember, you can talk to us on Twitter and Facebook. Nigeria Info FM on Twitter, Nigeria Info 99.3 on Facebook. We're streaming live. I'll be showing you a few pictures, and I have a guest joining me on the show, and we're going to be talking live. So do go ahead and watch on Facebook and on YouTube. YouTube Nigeria Info FM, Facebook Nigeria Info 99.3. Tweet at us at Nigeria Info FM and share your thoughts via WhatsApp 080 959 75805. It's Thursday, so I promise you, League of Extraordinary Nigerians and Eyewitness, I promise you a big hard fact. We're going to talk about traffic offenses and fines. The state government is auctioning off the cars of people who drive one way. Do you think 5 p.m. Let's have that conversation. Of course, there's these updates coming your way at the top of every hour. We've got, because today's Thursday, we've got listed Legoshan with Ireti Bakara Yusuf. She has an amazing guest lined up this Thursday, and I cannot wait for you to meet her guest today. Before that, there's Lagosa, an amazing radio play. I love that radio play. There's so much going on in that radio play, and I'm curious about what they're going to get up to today. So today, 6:15, that's when Lagosa takes the air. 6:30 is when Lisa Legoshan takes the air as well. But let's start off with the big 3.
This is the Big 3.
The Big 3
on Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
What concrete steps must Nigeria take to improve life for persons with disabilities? Should the police be trying to stop the panels of inquiry? Do you agree with the Sultan of Sokoto? Those are the big 3, Lagos. Let's talk. Today is International Day of Persons with Disabilities, and this year's theme is Building Back Better towards an inclusive, accessible, and sustainable post-COVID-19 world by, for, and with persons with disability. Now, that's a big issue because COVID-19 destabilized all of us, and it amplified the issues that we were all struggling with before. And so for people with disabilities, it was especially difficult, especially in the area of accessibility. But beyond COVID-19, Nigeria generally has to do more to improve, what we're doing about people with disability. Also improve and increase accessibility for Nigerians who have disabilities. And we have to make sure that all their special needs are met. Now, one person is doing great work in that regard, specifically in the area of muscular dystrophy. The name of her organization is the Muscular Dystrophy Campaign Nigeria, and she's joining me on the show today. Her name is Obianuju Chiamaka Amangbo. Welcome to Hard Facts, Chiamaka.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
First of all, tell me about muscular dystrophy. What is it? There are people who are hearing that for the first time today. What is it?
Okay, muscular dystrophy is a muscle wasting condition, and it's degenerative, and it can affect any part of your muscles. So you can think about your voice, like you can speak. There are some people who, if affected by muscular dystrophy, and if it affects their voice, they can't speak. It can affect the eye, it can affect the spine, your upper hands, your legs, any part of your body. It can basically affect you. And there are also some people with some undetermined type of muscular dystrophy. So they've got all the signs of muscular dystrophy, which are things like general muscle weakness, very frail limbs, not being able to walk straight, unable to rise from the ground. You know, the very basic things that you think anybody will be able to do, they won't be able to do that. But yet, their type of muscular dystrophy is also not known yet. So yes, they do have muscular dystrophy, but the type is yet to be determined. So with muscular dystrophy, it limits your ability to doing things. It's a condition that progresses over time. So over a period of time, for some people, the rate of progression is very slow. For some people, it's very fast. You know, anybody can get muscular dystrophy. You can get it from birth. You can get it at an older age. You know, it doesn't spare anyone. If it wants to affect you, it will affect you regardless of your age, your sex, your nationality, everything. It doesn't spare. If it wants to affect it, affects anybody. And that's a little bit I can give you for now about muscular dystrophy.
Now, tell me why you started this campaign. Why you?
I myself, I suffer with muscular dystrophy.
Okay.
And the type I have is a spinal muscular atrophy,
Okay.
which means it affects my spine. There are over maybe about 60 to 70 different types of muscular dystrophy, but mine is the spinal muscular atrophy.
I see.
And I've had this since I was about 4 years old.
Okay.
And from when I was younger, I could do most things. Even though I had muscular dystrophy, I was still able to do most things. But as I grew older, my ability to do things decreased. And by now, I am currently a permanent wheelchair user.
Okay.
Currently dependent on carers to look after me, and having a specially adapted sitting position to help with my back. And to answer your question, why me? Why not me? You know, I lived in Nigeria for a very, very long time. And due to the things I went through when I was in Nigeria, in terms of accesses, etc., it was very, very hard. And based on all the experiences I had, when I moved over to the UK, I saw the organization, the Muscular Dystrophy Campaign, the Muscular Dystrophy Organization for the people living in the United Kingdom. I was quite impressed. And I know I've always wanted to make a change in something. You know, you go through certain things in life, and all you just want to do is to change that, to change that perception that people have about certain things. And I don't know who is more equipped to do that, if not myself. I've lived life in Nigeria. I've gone through, you know, a lot. And I know there are people who may not be as fortunate as I am to, you know, live well or to get to where they want to be, just because, you know, the way the Nigerian situation is. And my ultimate goal is to change that, so that if you have a disability, especially muscular dystrophy, regardless of where you live in Nigeria, you still be able to live quality life.
Can you tell me what exactly the muscular dystrophy campaign does? What exactly does it do?
So the muscular dystrophy campaign, we are wanting to sensitize the general public about muscular dystrophy,
Okay.
what it is, how it impacts people, from the normal everyday life to maybe academics, education, to social life, etc. So our role will be to link people to the services that they need. When I was making inquiries in Nigeria, some of the people I spoke to said they do have people with muscular dystrophy, but once they are diagnosed and they are told, you've got muscular dystrophy, they don't come back. One thing I forgot to mention about muscular dystrophy is it doesn't have a cure. There is no cure for muscular dystrophy. So people with muscular dystrophy, most people would eventually die, But what they do here in the UK is to manage the condition.
Okay.
There are things that try, because apart from just having muscular dystrophy, there are other diseases that you could get, or other disabilities that you can also get. I've got spinal muscular atrophy, but I also have scoliosis of the back, which is a curvature of my spine. So it's just about managing that condition, linking people to the services that they need. That's what muscular dystrophy campaign Nigeria wants to do. A lot of people think, oh, because I've got muscular dystrophy, I'm eventually going to die, so there's no point in trying anything. But that's not the truth. I'm 42 years old, and I have had the best of my life. I've gone to school. I am working full-time here in the UK. So if I can do that, I went to school in Nigeria before I moved to the UK. So if I could achieve some of the things I achieved in Nigeria, I also think people in Nigeria should have that chance. Some people believe that muscular dystrophy is a curse, and because they don't know why they have it, and there is no cure, so there is no need to do anything. But our organization wants to change that perspective, that if you have muscular dystrophy, that's the end. It's not the end. You can still live quality life with the right support. So far, we've got Talk to the Therapist, which is an occupational therapy services there in Nigeria, and they do provide some of this support. Most of the things that someone with muscular dystrophy would need already is in Nigeria. The occupational therapist can assess you, make some suggestions on how to do things differently, just to enable people to cope. But the first thing is to be tested to know you've got muscular dystrophy.
Okay.
If you go to the hospital, we also have the Human Race Specialist Medical Diagnostic Center, which is in Owerri. And I'm sure every other hospital in Nigeria would also have the basic testing facilities to, do the blood tests, do the muscle biopsy, and whatever other tests they need to do to make sure people have that. But people don't follow up. So apart from, us linking people to the services that they need, we also want to encourage them, to give them a hope that having muscular dystrophy is not the end of your life. You can still do something, be whoever you want to be, but you need to get the right support.
Now, can you talk to me about what you think the government at all levels now needs to do to improve things for people with muscular dystrophy?
I think the government has got a big role to play.
Okay.
In terms of getting accesses. I understand that there's this initiative that has been passed where every public building needs to be accessible.
Right.
And for me, that is great. And also from my inquiries, I understand that it's about just Lagos that has the right accessible transport in terms of public transport for people with disability.
Right.
Which is, so the government has now got to do more, go into other places. One thing we've got to be aware, people with muscular dystrophy don't only live in Lagos or in big cities. They live in the villages where nobody can actually reach them. What is the government? What is the state government, what is the local government doing to support these people?
Right.
So accessibility is very, very important. People with muscular dystrophy at some point will not be able to take care of themselves. So in terms of personal care, so that is important. Somebody needs to have quality of life. The government is responsible for the people that live in its country. So they should also be looking after the people with muscular dystrophy in terms of making sure that, these people get the quality of care they deserve. I know that Nigeria is still coming up, is a long way, but I'm a strong believer that things will change. In fact, things are changing. So it's a challenge because some people with muscular dystrophy will not be able to afford the cost of their care.
Right.
When I spoke to someone, she let me know when they arranged for a care, it was costing them 150,000 naira per month to care. If that person is on a minimum wage, which is about 30,000 naira, how can they afford care? That's not possible. The government needs to look into that. If people need care, how would they be able to provide that? Access is in all areas, not just in the public places. They should also start looking into, people in their own homes. Encourage the occupational therapists, because I understand they only have one outfit in Nigeria, which is in Benin. Everyone can get to Benin,
right?
And the cost of transportation is going to make it even more. So encourage more of these things. Have the hospitals, encourage the hospitals, for instance, to make sure that they keep in touch with their patients. Try to bring them in. And it's a two-way thing for me. The government will do their part. Then the people with muscular dystrophy needs also to do their part. If you've got an appointment to see a doctor or you're booked a test,
you need to follow up.
You do need to go. Not going doesn't change the situation. And I think some people might find it very difficult to accept the situation they are in, and so they may not want to go back. But if you sit in your home, nobody's going to know that you need this help. So people need to follow up, but the government needs to make sure that act that was put in place in 2018, I believe,
that's right,
needs to be followed up. Access in all public places. That means schools, education. I went to UNN and it was horrible for me when I was in school. I don't know if that has completely changed now.
Probably not.
But it needs to change. The government says one thing and it takes like forever before anything actually happens. That is wrong. They are actually failing in their responsibility to their citizens, and it's wrong.
Now, tell me what's next for the campaign as we wrap up this conversation. What are your goals for 2021?
Okay, so we are going to be doing lots of programs next year, raise more awareness campaigns, do some more. We've got a program coming up actually on the 12th of December at 12 p.m.
Okay.
Yes. And that will be to sensitize people more about muscular dystrophy.
Fantastic.
We have people to talk about their experiences. And we also have the occupational therapist and the medical doctors to tell us the support that they are offering, so people can actually hear that. So anyone can actually attend. It's open to the general public. But from 2021, we'll be doing lots of programs. We want to introduce a lot of awareness campaign, which every single one will be able to participate. Whether you're at your home, in the school, in the media, you can always participate. They're very simple things, and they're going to be very fun things as well, because we love some fun. So we're going to bring fun. So people will get to know when they see people wearing like orange and green. By the way, that's our color.
Okay.
They will know, this is muscular dystrophy, and I know about muscular dystrophy.
Right.
So that's what we want to achieve.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Obianuju, for talking to us on the show today. And we do wish you the best of luck come 2021. And we hope that we can connect again to talk about the progress of the events and the campaign itself.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Lagos, you've heard from my guest. Now we're going to hear from you after the break. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. Don't go away.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
This month, dance will experience an innovation that will change the game. As Cafe Incorporated presents Dance Boss with
It's almost 3:30, and for our second story, the police wants an end to the state judicial panels. According to multiple news outlets, including The Punch, the Nigerian police force has filed a suit at the Federal High Court in Abuja. The suit is naming the Attorney General of the Federation, the 36 state Attorney Generals, and the chairs of all the state panels. The police is arguing that these panels have no right to probe the police. Why? Because they believe it's unconstitutional. They're using Section 241, which they say gives exclusive power to the federal government for controlling and organizing the police. So the argument is state governments have no control over the police, so they cannot set up panels to probe them. Now let's point out a couple of things. First of all, these state panels, how did they come about? Them. He chaired a meeting with the National Executive Council, attended by the governors, and the NEC asked the governors to set up these panels. The second thing I want you to remember is what Nyesom Wike said at the time. He is the governor of Rivers State, and he said he doesn't understand why federal government is asking the states to set up these panels, since the state has no power over police. I played that quote from him at the time for you, remember? Now, on the other hand, we've seen lawyers and Governor Sanwo-Olu here in Lagos make another point. They've been saying that these panels are simply investigating crimes to recommend prosecution, and state governments have the power of prosecution. A state attorney general can prosecute a police officer for a crime like murder. Another point being made right now is about the NHRC, the National Human Rights Commission. The police joined them in the lawsuit as well because they set up their own panel in Abuja. Some lawyers are pointing out that under the law, the NHRC has the right to investigate human rights abuses by the police and recommend prosecution. The NHRC Act makes this possible. So I think it will be very interesting to see how the court rules on this specific matter. Will the court rule that the right to investigate and prosecute is not an act of control? I don't know. We've been trying to get an official comment from the police on this, but Frank Mba, who's the police PRO, hasn't returned our calls or text messages just yet. We do hope that we're going to hear from them eventually. And speaking of police comments, yesterday I told you a story of how people were accusing the police of photoshopping a picture of suspects with machine guns. If you haven't seen that picture, we're streaming it right now for you. We're showing it to Facebook is Nigeria Info 99.3, YouTube Nigeria Info FM. We're showing you that picture right now. The police has given us a comment on that story. They said, quote, "The pictures are authentic and true representation of the suspects and exhibits. However, the pictures were taken separately and merged into one screen for seamless understanding of the storyline. The arms showcased in the picture were the exhibits recovered by police operatives from the suspects. End quote. So the police are saying that they did not doctor the picture, they just merged different pictures together. And some Nigerians are asking, isn't that what Photoshop is? What's the difference? Take a look at that picture for yourself on our live feed, Nigeria Info 99.3 on Facebook and Nigeria Info FM on YouTube. But anyway, Lagos, what do you think about the police suing to end the state judicial panels of inquiry? Do you think investigation is the same thing as control? 0700-993-993 993 0700-993-993. You also heard from my guest today on our first story. What are the ways that you think all of us and the government can improve accessibility for people with disabilities? How do you think we can help make people who have a disability live better, easier lives? 0700-993-993-993. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. Hello. Thanks for calling us.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Turn your radio off. What's your name?
My name is Pastor Harrison.
Pastor Harrison, welcome to the show. We've got two
Yes,
stories
I'm
so
calling
far.
from
Which one do you want to talk
Badagry,
about?
Aziz. Yeah, I want to talk about the police.
Yes, go ahead.
And the panel of inquiry.
Okay.
If you look at it critically by what your guest, Barrister Ebege, who was talking about it yesterday or day before, said authentically that this inquiry panel has no jurisdictions in the court of law. That tells you the effort and all that we are putting together is just a waste of time. And that is why he made reference to the general or the major who was testifying in the panel, that the way he talks and brag, that at the end of the whole thing, nothing good will come. So I look at the whole thing that we are just toying around in the same circle without bringing in anything that is cogent to bring out a good Nigeria as a country will call. Until we sit down and do the right thing. Like, in fact, our 99 Constitution as amended has not given us a blueprint by which the country will call ours will be governed properly. That is just what I have. God bless you.
All right. Bless you as well, Pastor. We've got more callers, 99.3. Sorry about that. Call back if you can. Hello.
Hello, Sandra. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm very well. My name is Michael. I'm coming from Idumota.
Welcome, Michael. Go ahead.
Thank you. So, I want to talk about this investigative panel stuff.
Yes, go ahead.
This is not the first time where in Nigeria where we have different issues happen, like very unfortunate issues like the ones that happened at Lekki Tollgate, and we have several reports, we have different investigation, and at the end of the day, everything is swept under the carpet. Do you understand?
Okay.
So I don't know how police, you are involved in something, then somebody's like cross-questioning you to ask, what is your involvement? Now, if your hands are clean, you say this and this happened. Do you understand? But in this side of the world, we have zero ability to own up to responsibilities. Do you understand?
Okay.
And then even when that happens, nobody is booked, nobody is sanctioned. Everything just goes like. So when these panels were set up, I was wondering, what is the essence of this? Why are we wasting our time? Why are we going about like this? Do you understand?
Okay.
It's painful that at the end of the day, people are not sensitive. The government and the police are not sensitive that lives were lost. If lives were not lost, properties were destroyed. Do you understand? People lost things. So for you to now be saying you are appealing to the court to stop it. By the way, Sibanjo was the person who ordered it. So are you now saying it like you are just realizing that nobody has the right apart from the federal government to prove the police, or are they just realizing that? So it's high time I don't know. Well, I am tired. I'm tired. Take care of yourself, Jerry.
You too. Thank you for calling me. 99.3. Hello.
Good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon. Turn your radio off, sir. What's your name?
My name is David.
David, welcome to the show. Two stories so far. Which one do you want to talk about?
The panel.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think the police should realize that the federal government that controls them just as you submitted at the start, were the people that called the governors and said they should set up this thing. So the governors acted on behalf of Mr. President.
Right.
Because you said the vice president invited the governors.
That's right.
So they are acting on their behalf, and they are not taking police to court yet. They are just fact finding. So when they finish their findings, they pass their recommendation to the person that brought them up, and the presidency cannot decide what to do with the fact finding points that all this panel will bring up. That's the way I see it.
All right. Thank you for calling to share how you see it. Let me go to WhatsApp and see the comments you've left for me so far. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. Still to come, the comments from the Sultan of Sokoto about the security situation in Nigeria. You trust me, you want to hear what he has to say. Whoever advised the police to do this ridiculous path, let me read that again. Whoever advised the police on this ridiculous path of challenging the jurisdiction of the popular panel, I pity them. We are wiser than those lawyers misleading them. And on the issue of our disabled persons, anybody who's a victim and is surviving at all should just thank God, because we are nursing a very wicked system that tolerates inhumanity among particular people in government. Steve Oferi in Ijaniki sent that message. Steve Oferi, thanks for your message. We've got somebody else who says fecklessness has an expiry date. Taking a look at this current administration, expectations have not been met and the possibilities are not comforting. Hope has risen, but only alongside relentless despair. Amidst the glaring incompetent leadership, profligacy of public officials, widespread insecurity and government's insensitivity to the people's plight. The country is in a bad shape as the current government sees blame game as a way of life. Where lies the model to get things right, and will there ever be light at the end of the tunnel? Chukwudi Urakba, very poetic in his submission this afternoon. All right, thanks for your message. Somebody says, Babatunde Fasanya says, if you ever believed in the panel probing the excesses of the alleged disbanded SARS, then the person does not know the workings in Nigeria. The court case is a starting ground for discarding the reports in totality. We are not serious about tackling the menace of police brutality. It is institutionalized. Babatunde Fasanya sent that message. We've got more messages here. Sandra, I have cerebral, I think you meant cerebral palsy. Same family as muscular dystrophy. Thank goodness I don't use a wheelchair. Nigeria's situation wasn't supportive, so I moved to the UK and I never came back. The point is, if you can't get help in Nigeria, move away. This is a message from Sam. Sam is in Hammersmith, London. Sam, thank you so much for listening and thank you for sending your message across today. Good afternoon, Sandra. On the statement by the Nigerian police begging the courts to stop the ongoing probe of police brutality, we can see that our government isn't living up to their responsibilities. Is the police above the law? Do they have license to kill at will? The government has not learned anything about from the NSAS protests. Adebayo in Lagos sent that message across. All right, Lagos, let's move to our final story. The comments that I mentioned earlier on from the Sultan. The Sultan of Sokoto had very strong words for the government about insecurity. And that's our final story on the Big Three today. As Sultan, Saad Abubakar is also the head of the Jamaatul Nasril Islam. And the JNI issued a statement in the aftermath of the massacre in Borno State by Boko Haram. I'm going to read you some excerpts of that statement. Quote, "We nevertheless once again call on the federal government to rise up to its responsibilities and do well beyond the traditional condemnation, as lip service on security matters should stop. Nigerians are desperately yearning for concrete actions." End quote. So the JNI is saying that it believes that the government has not been doing enough on security matters beyond making statements. And there's more. Quote, 43 human beings, as reported by the media, were slaughtered without any intervention by the security forces in the area. The senseless act stands condemned in the strongest of terms. Wanton killings, acts of banditry, kidnapping for ransom, high rate of unemployment among the youth, rape and all forms of terrorism have now become the new trend in our communities. Nigerians have become so much terrified as nowhere is safe. The home, the farms, the roads. Bandits now rule in many communities. They set rules that must be obeyed. End quote. That's a very stark picture that the JNI is painting about life in some parts of the north. They went so far as saying that bandits are in charge of some communities. Here's another quote. Unfortunately, the common man is now caught in between two contending phenomena. When he goes to the farm, he gets killed. And when he stays at home, he dies of hunger. End quote. Remember on Monday I told you the UN humanitarian rep said the same thing. People are having to choose between starving to death at home or risking getting stabbed and shot to death by Boko Haram at the farm. And the JNI, under the Sultan, is saying that only government, through security agencies, can end this. Here's the last quote from that statement. It should be known that this singular act of Zambari was a calculated attempt to instill fear among farmers and jeopardize the frantic efforts of returning internally displaced persons to their localities by the Borno state government under the leadership of Governor Babagana Umar Zulum. End quote. Now, I'm highlighting this because of the statement from Garba Shehu a few days ago, the president's spokesperson. Remember, he asked whether these farmers who were killed had clearance from the military to be there. And now the JNI is saying that their return there was coordinated by the state governor himself. So if this is true, then these were not farmers who randomly decided to go to a war zone. These were people shepherded by the government, now dead. Do you agree with the JNI's assessment of the situation? What do you think about their revelation that the farmers were IDPs being resettled by the Borno state government? And yes, you can still talk about our second story on the show today, the police wanting a court to stop the panels of inquiry across the country. Do you think investigation is the same thing as control? And what do you think the government can do, and you and I as well can do, to improve accessibility for people with disabilities? Those are our three stories on the Big Three today. 0700993 993 993 0700 993 993 993. Hello.
Finally, President Sandra.
Thanks for calling us.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
Chris.
Chris, good to have you on the show.
Thank you. For the Sultan of Sokoto, I think for me, it's late. It's late because 4, 5, 6 years ago, this thing has been going on. Like I always say, not only them in the north, Nigerians took sides with this government. 2 years down the line of this government, I said things are not working. Nobody listened to me. Today now they are complaining. Former Governor Kashim Shettima. Oh, I smile to Villa. Now let him smile now. Let me see. Kashima, former governor. I smile to the Villa. When they were tackling President Jonah, I was telling them that this thing is not about President Jonah, it's about Nigeria. But no. Now the man is no more. The bidding continue. Then for the police. Sandra, you remember when they charge about 30-something police, they find them wanting for that brutality, right? Then the Attorney General said, oh, whatever this thing, they did not warrant any, whatever. You heard the news then.
Right.
Then the lawyer you spoke to, I think on Monday or so, that human rights lawyer, right?
On Tuesday, Inibehe.
Yeah. The man said they never prosecute any police. So I think they know that they have backing from the federal. That is those police who are misbehaving, that nothing will happen. And President Sandra, all this I put together, I know people say, oh no, you have right to protest under democracy now. 2012, yeah, people protested. Most of them are in government today. They protested. Who arrest them? Who kill any of them then? So that is why I called you that day and said, look, Sandra, please, we are not right for protest now, because the body language of people in government don't want such thing. That's why I've been calling on parents, talk to your ward. Now the IG has warned again of recent. Now they want to stop that panel. Even the one going on in Lagos, they've told you no court will entertain whatever comes out of it. Hey, President Sandra.
I'm listening.
So please, I'm still begging. I hear some people, I feel irritated when Chris say we should not protest. No, it's question of time. 2-3 years down the line, thank God there's nothing like third time, right? But if the guy wants to go for third term, he will succeed. I'm telling you, the way Nigerians are going. So I'm begging Nigerians, please don't argue with this set of people. Let's bear with them, please, President Sandra. And thank you for your good job. I hear one of them who lost about 3 of his family, and he's accusing you, spreading bad news. You remember that man? Hello, Sandra.
I'm here. I'm listening. Yes, I remember.
You remember the man? He's from this, and I tell him, like where they killed up 40-something people, go there the next day as if nothing happened. We in the south here are complaining. Some of them will say, they get a headache for another Panadol for another person headache. Go there the next day, look as if nothing happened. So for Sultan Of Sokoto to cry out now, and some of their leaders say, oh, they are disappointed in this government now. But then everybody was, no, things are not working. Nobody believed me. The man still have room to make some changes. Femi Adesina told us that is his style. But this style is not working. President Buhari, Nigeria showed you love. Both the youths, everybody. And today, look at what you are giving back to Nigeria. I remember when he cried. When they type, why are you crying? So I'm crying for Nigeria. I want to do good. Is that the good you want to do?
Chris, thanks for calling us. 99.3, hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir. What's your name? Sorry? Hi, Lekki. Welcome. Long time.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
Good to have you on the show.
Yeah, I want to talk about physically challenged because I'm physically challenged.
Yeah.
I'm living with disability.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say that for us in Nigeria, it's actually you are not included in people of Nigeria, because for all to survive, I better living in disability is something Nigeria facing a lot of discrimination. For example, hello, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you, yes.
Okay, for example, I'm an artist. I have a song on YouTube.
Okay.
I to play a singer by Leka Korede. I'm people please, you can support me by go there and please see Leka Korede on YouTube and subscribe and download the song. Please, you can support me. Play a singer by Leka Korede on YouTube.
Okay.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you so much. Thank you for calling. 99.3. Hello. Sorry about that. Call back if you can. Hello.
Hello, President Sandra. Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for calling.
The last speaker just got me so emotional, and I look and wonder at our policy towards the disabled in our society. We just have to make conscious efforts. I like what you do for the female folk in leadership. I also want others to use your medium to encourage other media people, other personalities that have platforms as big as yours to do something for the less privileged. And also employment situations in Nigeria. Organizations should make conscious efforts to also put that as a part of their recruitment policy to bring in people with disability. If we keep seeing people with disability in places of employment, if we keep seeing facilities having spaces for people with disability in their structure, even if in terms of walkways and all that, it will encourage and bring advocacy for their plight. It's terrible. I had retinal detachment, and over the past 1.5 years, my vision has impaired for a long time. I can now feel and imagine what people who are within my space or who who have been having disabilities over the past years have been going through. It's really been depressing, especially when society is, if you want to cross my road, as young as I am, I'll tell somebody, please, can you help me? He's looking at me as if he's scared of me or something. So we have to make a conscious effort to educate ourselves, to imbibe that spirit of brotherliness, especially with the disabled. Now, finally, let me address Mr. Chris from Ijesha. We should go past self-aggrandizement. The society is as bad as it is. Jonathan has done his bit, and his place in history is there. We should all move on and think nationalistic in Nigerian's perspective. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling. We appreciate it. 99.3, hello. Sorry about that. Call back if you can. 0700-993-993-993. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
This is Mr. Ben from Ikorodu.
All right, welcome.
Am I talking with President Sandra?
Yes, you're live on the show. Go ahead.
Thank you, madam. When I hear what is happening in Nigeria, the thing baffles me. If we can understand when this government is coming into place, President Buhari told Nigeria that his regime, this term, will be tougher than the former one. People thought he was joking. And we can see what is happening today.
Did he say that?
Yes, he said that. When he said in the next level, and when he was sworn in, the day he took over, he said this is regime, this time will be tougher than the former one. People thought it was. Oh. Yes, he said so. You can go back to history. Okay. The day he took over, the second tenure. And with what is happening today, you can see when the government, the vice president asked the governors to set a panel of inquiry. The only man who spoke the truth then was the River State governor, who said the governors have no power to organize any panel in any state because they don't have power over the military or the police in their state. And that is what is happening today. We can see that it is all a joke. The government is not serious. That is why we are here today. But I pray, whatever a man shows, the Bible says he will repeat at the end.
Thanks for calling us. I also have to insist that the president never said that because I just went back to go and look at the president's speech and he didn't say that. So apologies for letting that man get away with saying that. Well, I didn't let him get away with it because I just corrected it. Alessami Joseph says, was part of the demands not for the government to increase police salaries and reform the police force in general? So why are the police themselves calling for a stop to the panel? This is the result we get when okay. Now, I got a report. I'm still trying to follow up that the police haven't even been paid their salaries for last month. I'm looking at that story. I'm investigating it. I'm getting very sad reports about that particular situation. So when I find out more, I'll share that particular story with you. Enilolo Bo Abiola. I'm sorry if I didn't say your name right, but said, Sandra, you just have to sip in that water. You what? Oh, okay. I guess you were watching me. Garibashe, who doesn't know when to issue statements and when not to, you say that statement was not sanctioned by the president himself. That's a message from Abiola Abiodun. And Abiola Abiodun also says that the Sultan has spoken the minds of the voiceless. Nigeria is no longer safe for Nigerians to live and do business amongst each other. Joseph Akabusi says, Sandra, you're not talking about anything relating to this show. So let's look at people who are talking about the show in particular. Let's see. Okay. We have somebody who wants to find out at what age muscular dystrophy is diagnosed. Well, she did mention that anybody can get it at any age. So she had it when she was 4. They diagnosed her when she was 4 years old, but people get it as adults. It happens to anyone and it happens at any time. It's quite terrible. Let's come back to the phone lines now. 99.3. Hello. Sorry about that. Call back if you can. Hello.
Hello, Sandra.
How are you, sir? What's your name?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good
this
afternoon.
is Ray Observer.
Welcome.
Yes, Sandra, you know, like when the panel was set up,
yeah,
I think I called in into one of the radio stations, and I made a statement. I said, this panel that I set up, that you can't be a judge in your own case. That it's heading nowhere until Governor of Rivers State made the statements he made. I don't know, because he's a lawyer. He understands what is happening. Because it's like these people are playing with the minds of the youth. Because if you look at it, part of the requirement of the 5x5 requirement, it's for them to compensate those that have been victims of police brutality.
That's right.
Then what are we talking about? Police rising up, going to court to stop the panels. Sandra, God will help us in this country.
All right. Thanks for calling us. Sometimes when I pause a lot, I'm actually drinking water. So if you don't hear me, I'm just wetting my throat because I talk for a living and it's a painful throat. We've got comments on Twitter. Ensa Zolayemi Wasiu says, police doesn't have any right to stop the panels of inquiry. Let the panel go on with their findings and release the hidden facts to the right authorities. Nigerian government really doesn't have data of the disabled. If they really want to assist the disabled, they should help those who want to work and who have the ability to do that by providing necessary equipment that they need for work. Thank you for sending your message to us. We've got Akem who says 1 billion people, or 15% of the world's population, experience some form of disability. This group of people are likely to experience adverse socioeconomic outcomes than persons without disabilities. The Nigerian government can advance the social and economic development of persons living with disability. Danny Idowu says, good afternoon, Sandra. The statement from His Eminent Sultan of Sokoto is re-echoed of what has been said by patriotic Nigerians, but I pray the government does something urgently. All right, then. There's more comments, but there's not enough time to get into all of them. So let's take that break. We'll come back and bring you League of Extraordinary Nigerians as well as Eyewitness at 4:30. Don't forget, at 5 o'clock, you and I will take a look at that law from Lagos that says that if you drive one way, you get to have your vehicle seized and auctioned off.
My name is Ahmed from my papa.
I want to tell you about my radio. My radio is my best friend.
My steady companion.
My radio keeps me informed
all day long with hot topics, trending news,
politics, and current affairs.
My radio gives me the best music.
My radio is Nigeria Info.
Everybody in Nigeria listens to Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.